He fell asleep in New Jersey before the bombs hit the ground. Broadcasting from a bomb shelter, he is the nuclear clown.
This may surprise you, but being a gigantic, bald, ugly gentleman gives me a lot of time to enjoy video games. And I've been playing Guild Wars 2 lately, and I'd like to share some of my thoughts. Now, let me first make this very clear that a massively multiplayer online game takes a really long time to get into. And I've only had Guild Wars for a couple of days, so this is less a review and more like my initial first impressions. Thus far, I have a character. I have a level 41 warrior, and the level cap of the game is 80. So take it for what you will. This is just my initial impression of the game thus far. I have yet to get really, really super deep into it, but I can tell you my thoughts so far. When I first started playing Guild Wars 2, I watched a bunch of reviews on it, first of all. I didn't think I was going to get it at first, or I figured I'd get it eventually, but I was in no rush. I watched a bunch of reviews on it and figured, hey, why not, right? I'm bored, and my parole hearing isn't for a couple of more hours, so I went out and I picked up the game. Now, when I first started playing it, I didn't really think I was getting into it too much because it was so vastly different than the normal kind of MMO formula that I think everybody is used to. I know that I'm used to anyway, where you go talk to somebody, you get a quest, you kill 5 buffalo, and then you bring back the buffalo scrote, and then they make you a tobacco pouch, like Pat Garrett and Young Guns 2. It's a tobacco pouch made out of buffalo scrote. You don't remember that part? All right. Even though I had seen the reviews and I've read all the stuff about Guild Wars 2 and people say, oh, it's so different, it's such a drastic break from your traditional MMO, I figured, how much different could it be? And then I started playing it and I went, lots different. And when my first few levels through the game, I really, like I said, I didn't think I would like it too much because it's such a drastic departure from the way things normally go. But as I sort of got the hang of it and started kind of getting in pace with the game, I realized that there's only one explanation for Guild Wars 2. The people involved in creating this game are obviously from another world. They are Martians who have come to Earth and said, we have studied these massively multiplayer online games, and while we aren't particularly experienced in them, this is what we've come up with. Because so much of the things in Guild Wars are just not how things have been. And I think it's really easy for video game companies to sort of just build on what's been done before without really innovating too much. Every game kind of has their own neat sort of calling card, I guess. Star Trek Online has a shitload of character customization and freedom to kind of make your character look how you want, write backgrounds for your crew, design your own ship, and stuff like that. Where the Old Republic is really restrictive as far as creativity. You're given a class story. Your character freedom is, well, non-existent in that game at all, but it's very slickly produced. It's got a lot of money behind it. It's got the voiceovers, and it's got the cutscenes, and that's all very impressive. Guild Wars, I almost said Ghost Wars. I don't know what's going on with me. But Guild Wars 2 is fucking different. Really different. So let's get into this. I have a list of the good and the bad of Guild Wars thus far that I have discovered that I'm going to be sharing with you. I really like how the level scaling works in Guild Wars 2. Now, in most MMOs, if you've played one of these games for any period of time, you've undoubtedly come across the problem where you have a high-level character and your friend just buys the game and wants to play with you, so you have to make another character. This can be kind of obnoxious because you don't want to start again if you don't have to. You'd much rather use the character you're familiar with, the character you've invested all this time into, and play with them. But if you kind of do that, you're going to be cutting into their experience, and it's going to be a big deal. And some games offer you the option to match the level of the lowest person in the party, so you can use a higher level character with a lower level character, and it all evens out, right? And that's great. And hey, Star Wars: The Old Republic, maybe with a couple of $100 million you spent on your game, you could have implemented this very easy feature. I don't know, I'm just saying. But, what do I know? Guild Wars 2 does this fantastically, in that any level, any zone in the game that you go to, if you're higher level than the zone, it automatically bumps you down or drops you down. It can't bump you down, can it? You bump up, you drop down. That's how things work online. It automatically scales your level to the level of the zone, which is very, very nice. So let's say you have a level 80 character and your friend just buys the game and he starts at level 1, and you can take your level 80 character, go to the starting zone, and it will drop your level to that zone, so that you're not cutting into your friend's experience, and you can play with other people who are different levels than you. This also besides this, it opens up the door for just pretty much exploring the content of the game. The people who made Guild Wars 2 made this big, tremendous world, and they want you to play it. They want you to explore it. So, feasibly, what you could do is do the starting zone for your race, get to level 1 to 15 zone, finish that, then go to another race's starting zone, quest there, and still get experience, because it's your level is even to where you kind of are. So it gives you the freedom to go adventuring in other zones and actually benefit, instead of a lot of other games. Like I'll use Old Republic in a lot of these examples because it's the game I've been playing most recently. In the Old Republic, let's say you make a Sith Inquisitor or something like that, and you play in Korriban, and Korriban's a level 1 to 10 planet, and then you leave, and you never go back to Korriban again. Well, you do in the class story for like 5 minutes, but it doesn't really matter. It's a shame that a game company puts all this time into making this world, and so much of the game you're either never going to see because you outlevel it so quick, and you're never going to go back just to hang out or run around or anything like that. But Guild Wars, with the whole level scaling, you can go to areas you've never seen before, even if they're lower level than you, do the quests there, and get experience that actually helps you out. It's not going to be as much experience as if you were doing quests in your own level, but it's good. I mean, you can feasibly level character this way. And I found that as I'm just simply playing this game and exploring things and going to other zones and playing with friends, no matter what level we are, no matter what class we are, we're all leveling. We're all just stacking up levels, and you're not even really paying attention to that. You're just playing. You're just enjoying the game. And that is a really beautiful thing for Guild Wars 2. Another thing I really liked, and I'm sure everybody, in all the reviews I've read, people rave about this feature with good reason. Every single crafting node in the world is specific just for you. So if you run up to a mining node, like a copper ore mine or something, and you mine it, you can mine it with somebody else, and you will both get all of the ore. In most games like Warcraft, if you go up to a copper ore mine or whatever, or any kind of crafting node, and you dig it up, it's gone from the world. And if, a lot of times people will run up and snatch it from you, and this leads to hurt feelings and caved in monitors. And Guild Wars 2 is extremely player friendly, and I cannot tell you how important that is in a game like this. If you're going to be spending a lot of time playing a video game, it's nice to know that the people who made it are kind of on your side. So the whole ninja looting thing is a relic of the past, because if there's a quest item and you grab it, it's not gone for the next person. It's there for them too. And a lot of these quests are dynamic events that include everyone kind of in the area. So you'll find yourself running along and see a mob of people running towards a dynamic quest that just pops up out of nowhere, like, I don't know, a bandit attack or something like that. And you'll just kind of tag along with them, and everybody fights off the bandits together without any sort of formal grouping. You're just kind of all included in this quest and progress towards this quest, and then you're rewarded on how much you participated. So it really is kind of forcing you almost to be social. And I understand people who kind of just, don't really do the group thing a lot. They want to play at their own pace. They want to just wander around or do whatever. Everybody's kind of playing style and play schedule is different. So if you're a kind of solitary gamer, I think kind of I am. I like going in groups every now and again, but I like also being able to level my character or play alone if I have to. Like the vast majority of things I do with my hands, it's just me in the room. So with this whole kind of dynamic quest system that Guild Wars uses, it makes you be social. It forces you out there to play with other people, and that is a great thing. Guild Wars 2, in my experience thus far, is all about removing boundaries and walls that prevent people from having a fucking good time. Another thing with the classes, there are 8 classes in Guild Wars 2. They have done away completely with the tank, healer, DPS model that has kind of ruled these sort of games for so long, and every class can do a little bit of everything. So it's no longer, you have to make your character depending on the needs of the group or your guild. I mean, it can be obnoxious if you and 2 friends are playing and you all decide to make healers, or you all decide to make tanks, or you all decide to make DPS, and it's kind of, it sucks getting stuck saying, well, all right, you're a tank, I guess I'll be a healer, and you can be DPS or whatever. With Guild Wars 2, you play what you want, and it doesn't matter. You can have a group of all necromancers, and they have necromancers in this, which is awesome in itself. You could have a group of all warriors, of all engineers, all this, all that, and it doesn't matter because everybody can serve kind of in these roles, and it's just a vast departure from the typical holy trinity of stuff in these sort of games as far as roles go. So that is very, very nice. The next good feature, I'll do all the good stuff first, I don't do the bad stuff second. This is kind of both, though, and it's the graphics on Guild Wars 2. The graphics are very pretty on Guild Wars 2. There's a lot of zones, a lot of areas, especially the water and the underwater parts in this game are just beautiful to look at. And the graphics are very good. The graphics are very, very good. But, and this is solely personal preference, I have never been a fan of games with very realistic graphics, especially MMOs, because you're dealing in a game with magic and monsters and dragons and shit like that, and putting a realistic kind of art style graphical engine thing to that, just to me at times looks a little bit absurd. For example, I have a level 41 warrior, and I was running around with these 2, so I look like a normal guy, just a normal, normal realistic looking fellow, I guess, and I'm carrying around these 2 just giant ludicrous looking Warhammer axes that, I mean, they were so big I had to stop using them because they were so silly looking. And a lot of the stuff I think doesn't mix with the art style, at least for me. It's a very pretty game to look at, but I have never been a fan of the realistic games, and I know that most people, or a lot of people, I've watched reviews and stuff for like World of Warcraft, Old Republic. A lot of people with MMOs are the opposite, and they hate the more cartoony kind of stylized graphics, where I prefer the more cartoony stylized graphics. I love the way the Old Republic looks. I love the graphical style. I love that it's, well, you can't really say it's cartoony-ish, but, it's not super, super serious looking. So the graphics are good on Guild Wars 2, but personally, I don't really like this style of graphics. Really good. See, I got a lot to do, and I only have unlimited time to talk about this, so I'm going to try to blast through this, so this review is not 6 hours long, and will take me 3 days to fucking render it. Naming. This is really important, at least to me, and a lot of massively multiplayer online games, they'll be really restrictive with naming. Either you only get one name, or, no spaces in your names or anything like that. Guild Wars 2 gives you, I mean, you can name yourself kind of whatever you like. You can be Lord Roinky Roink, if you really want to. My character's name is Dave the Hungry, with spaces and everything, and it fits. You don't have to be like X Dave X the X Hungry X heart XOXO. I hate shit like that. The naming it's important. I mean, if you want to have a character and you want to name them, you want to give them a title, or you want to just whatever, it's nice to have that freedom and to not be limited to just one word. It's a small feature, but I think it's really important and it's very cool. If you're going to spend all this time sitting in front of your computer playing a game, you should be able to name your character what the fuck you want, right? As long as it's not offensive to anyone, like Gravity Tits or anything. I don't know. That doesn't make sense. But yeah, so naming is good. Also, there's a ton of guild features which are lacking in other games like the Old Republic. Again, I'm going to compare this to the Old Republic because the Old Republic's what I've been playing most of lately, so it's kind of just natural to do this. In Guild Wars, you can have your guild insignia. You can put your guild insignia on armor, on banners, on weapons and stuff, which is a very nice touch. You don't start out with a guild kind of banner insignia, though. You have to spend influence, guild influence, to research it, and researching takes an amount of real-world time. And you get guild influence by playing with your guild. When a guild member logs in, they add influence to your guild. When you do quests with your guild, you really start piling on the influence, and it can accrue very quickly, just simply by playing with other people in your guild, which is a really great feature, and again, promotes people being social. It's always nice when games do shit like that. And for Guild Wars to come out with this feature that they're only going to build off of in the future, I think is really, really very, very neat. That's one of my big problems with the Old Republic. They spent this gross amount of money on this game, and it's lacking a lot of basic features that games for years have had. And that drives me nuts when it's just something so common in games that the new kind of sexy, really expensive game doesn't have. It drives me crazy. And Guild Wars 2, that I can see anyway, pretty much covers all the bases of stuff that you would expect to find in a game. And how about this? In Guild Wars 2, you can actually move windows around and make them smaller and make them bigger. And your inventory, you can go, I'm going to drag my inventory, click and drag my inventory. And in the $100 million Star Wars game, I don't know. So, Guild Wars 2, great frame to build off of in the future, and a shitload of really nice features that I'm seeing. Now, as far as the guild stuff goes, I remember in Guild Wars 1, you used to be able to have your own guild hall, and you could actually make a place where your guild would hang out, and you could buy, like, merchants and stuff for your guild. I don't know if they have that yet in Guild Wars 2. I've only had the game for a couple of days, and kind of messing around with the guild stuff. I'm still very basic, doing upgrades and stuff, the basic stuff, so I don't know about the more in-depth crap, but I haven't seen that yet. But off to a good start on the guild features. Now, you also get experience for pretty much everything in Guild Wars 2. Everything, walking, clicking buttons, making a sandwich, turning your computer off. I mean, everything you do, you get experience for. And you're going to need that experience because the level cap is 80, which is rather high. But as you're playing the game, the fact that you're constantly getting experience for every little thing, it all adds up. All the exploration experience adds up. All the quest experience adds up. And you find yourself leveling at a really nice pace where you're not even really thinking about it anymore. You're just enjoying the game and you're leveling as a side effect, which, again, these people have to be Martians, because so many times when you're playing an MMO, it feels like just work. Like, I just want my level. I just want to, hurry up and do this. And a lot of games kind of make it that way, where you're just kind of going through the motions, doing your quests, not really paying attention. But Guild Wars 2 gives you this big, dynamic world to explore with random quests popping up here and there as you're running along. You'll be trying to complete one quest, and something else pops up, an event that you can run and take part in, or not, depending on if you want to. And it's just it's a joy to play. It really is. And it's really very, very, very different experience for absolutely everything. Crafting gives you crazy experience, and it's highly recommended to work on your crafting because you just stack up experience learning new recipes and crafting stuff like that. All very, very, very good stuff. Now, one of the things that I missed and that I really thought Star Wars The Old Republic lacked was the feeling of just big worlds. And I guess to an extent you could say Star Trek Online as well. Star Wars and Star Trek had a bunch of planets, but they were really relatively small. And they consisted of a bunch of military bases and some wide open spaces with some monsters standing around going, just kill me, man. I got shit. I'll help you with your quest. Just waste me and get your experience and claim your gear and stuff like that. And, I mean, that's kind of fine and that's kind of typical, I guess. But worlds. I want a big place to explore, a big world. And when you have games like space games, like Star Trek, Star Wars, and you have a bunch of worlds, you have a bunch of different areas, but they kind of have to be smaller because there's so many of them. And you lose that sense of like, wow, this place is big. Even the bigger planets on Star Wars The Old Republic, like Hoth, it doesn't really feel like a world. And Guild Wars 2 gives you a really good feeling that you are in a world. The place is fucking huge. And the fact that even if you clear out a zone or you outlevel an area, like let's say you're level 30, and just the fact that you can go back and replay any zones that you just want to go in for the hell of it because you like the way they look or because you want to explore more areas or you just want, just want to play in a different change of scenery. The fact that with the level scaling that it is all new content, it doesn't split up the world in factions. It's not that there is no Horde or Alliance or Empire and Republic to further split player bases, to further split planets. Everything is explorable by everyone. Again, the theme of Guild Wars 2 is... They should just put this right on the fucking box. By the way, Guild Wars 2 has a really pretty box. I love this box. I love that it's all white. It reminds me of like Microsofty. Not Microsofty. I'm sorry. Appley, crunchy Appley stuff. Like the all white. It's just cute. It looks clean and nice. And it's adorable. So anyway, they should just put it right on the box. Guild Wars 2, hey, come on everybody. Fucking play. Like it is all inclusive, this game. It wants you to play every zone. And it doesn't, a lot of people, hardcore gamers, they'll call themselves, kind of bemoan how World of Warcraft sort of made everything easy, I guess. I remember playing games like EverQuest where you had to pretty much quit your job and disown your family and stop taking care of your children in order to get to level 15. And I didn't particularly have too much fun paying to be frustrated and slamming my fucking face against the wall. Because you would die and you would lose experience and you would lose levels. And it's like, haha, fuck you, now pay me to continue playing this game. I don't want to pay for that. And Guild Wars 2 just seems like it wants you to play. It wants you to experience things. And the penalty for dying isn't that bad. And it's just a very well put together game. Also, there are factions in this game. You have your storyline depending on what you choose to play. And they're all different. Now, the voiceovers and the cutscenes aren't to the level of the Old Republic, but let's be honest, after the first time through in the Old Republic, I skip all the fucking cutscenes anyway. And again, it's a shame because they took a lot of money to produce. They took a lot of time to get together. But at the end of the day, after you've seen them once, okay, that's fine. I don't want to sit through them 9 times through all my different alts I've fucking made over the months. So with Guild Wars, they have voiceovers here and there. And you know what? I don't miss them. I don't miss every quest being fully voiceovered. I think Guild Wars 2 does it fine, where you'll see an NPC walking around or 2 NPCs will be hanging around a city having a conversation. here or there, but if you talk to some people, it'll be just text scrolls and stuff like that. It's not that big a deal. I don't play Guild Wars 2 and say, oh god, I have to read, this is stupid, well, I want fully voiceover things. Honestly, I don't even realize that it's not fully voiced over. Maybe it's just me, every player is different, I don't know, but for me, it's not that huge a deal. And the voice acting in Guild Wars, when they do have the scenes, your class, or is it your race story? I don't know if it's class or race. I'm not sure. Maybe it's race. I forget. But your individual story has the full voiceover thing, and the other stuff has like kind of minimal voiceovers, I guess, and some text shit, which is fine. And I think that's the way Old Republic should have done it. I think that would have been cooler. But you know, whatever. So, and the voiceover stuff in Guild Wars 2, it's okay. It's passable. Some of it's kind of corny. As far as like the voice acting goes, I guess, but some of it is legitimately really funny. There's sometimes I've been playing this game and I've just stopped to listen to a conversation that two people are having because it's fucking funny. Like there was one, these two guards were standing outside and one of them was saying like, you're not gonna believe what I just saw, and the other guard's like, what do you mean? What did you see? And the other guard goes, I saw a flying cow. And they just talk about this flying cow, and it's just funny. It's really funny stuff. But as far as like the quest voiceovers and stuff, where you have the cutscene where you're just kind of standing there waving your arms around a bit too much, I may add in the cutscenes, it's like, so what's going on here? I don't know. Fight me. Let's go fight in a pile of fucking beans. Stuff like that. I don't know. Just a little bit too animated on the arms. You just kind of sway back and forth when you talk. But again, it's not a big deal because I don't know. I don't give a shit. I want to play. I want to play the game. I don't want to sit there and watch a 45-minute fucking movie, right? So I think the voiceovers they're capable enough. They're fine. And some of the stuff you'll hear just wandering around cities and stuff is really, honestly, very funny. And makes the world come to life even fuller. And speaking of the world, I should mention this. The underwater stuff in this game is gorgeous. You are automatically equipped with an underwater mask, Bane face mask breather thing. So you can go underwater indefinitely. There's no more, oops, I drowned. Oops, I got to get a spell put on me to not drown, to not die. They're just like, no, just explore, just go underwater all you want. I don't care. Spend as much time as you want. Again, come on, everybody. It's all inclusive. Just play. Just play and have fun. That's all they want you to do. So you can be underwater as long as you want. And when you go underwater, you switch to either like a harpoon or a harpoon gun or a trident, depending on your class. And you have different underwater skills, different underwater combat skills and stuff like that. And it's very, very neat and a welcome change. Because again, in Old Republic, you can't swim. You can't go in water deeper than like knee-deep water in the Old Republic, which is kind of like, is this a world or what? It's so restrictive in the Old Republic. And I find this funny because in Guild Wars 2, in this giant world with mountains and underwater places and just shit everywhere, it's enormous and huge. I have gotten stuck. My character, like you're running along and you get stuck in a graphical error or something. You get caught stuck in like a mountain and you can't move or something. I've been caught a grand total of never. I've never been stuck yet. Yet in Old Republic, like at least once every time I play, I'm running around. I'm stuck in a fucking mountain. I got a slash stuck. Oops, it killed me for some reason. What the fuck? I don't know. I thought that bared mention. For a game where you just explore everywhere, I would assume that you would get stuck some, but I haven't yet, and that's very, very cool. Now, in your class storyline, I was starting on this. My little paper here is going to try to keep me on track. In your class or your race storyline, I still forget which one it is. Now, during the course of your storyline, you have the option to join one of 3 different factions. And then, once you join, you do quests for that faction. I don't know how much the story diverges or is different, but I love the fact that you can actually join an organization, and that while your story is kind of laid out for you already, choices you pick at the beginning during character creation, they'll ask you a couple of questions, multiple choice kind of questions on your character's life and their personality and stuff and things that have happened in their past. Depending on what you pick will alter how your storyline plays out in the game, which is wonderful. And again, Old Republic, maybe you could have done something like this instead of just saying, what, you're a bounty hunter? Okay, fuck you. You're going to do exactly what that bounty hunter did. There's no difference between you. Suck it. Thanks for the cash, by the way. I love that. I absolutely love that. For example, my character, a Norn warrior, and the Norn are like, Vikings, just big, giant, stony, crusty dudes with mops on top. And in character creation, one of the questions was like, one of these events happened to you. Which one happened to you? And I picked, that my character got drunk one night and did not remember what he did. So as I'm playing the game, going through my storyline and stuff like that, I get a visit from some soldiers. And they were like, oh, there you are. What are you doing? You're going to work for us now. We're inscripting you into our into our band because you owe us because you got drunk and you fucked up something. You stole something that we had and now you have to pay back. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what is this all about? I don't even understand. And it hit me that it was the choice I made before I made my character. So when you're making your character and you're picking your choices, it actually influences the direction of your storyline, which I think is a very, very nice touch and gives you freedom over your character and some kind of creative voice into what your character does as far as their storyline goes. Very cool. Very, very cool. I definitely like that. As player freedom is a really, really big deal for me. Now, the last really, really great thing, I think, about Guild Wars 2, the last thing I will mention as far as the positive sides, is probably the most important of the positive sides. The game is free to play. Listen, we all know the drill, right? You go out, you pay $60 for a fucking video game. Then you play it, and you have to pay $15 every month to continue playing it. Most games were at least subscription-based. Guild Wars 2 does away with this completely. You buy the game, you install the game, and you can play the game from now until when the world ends in a couple of months, the whole 2012 thing, boom, type deal. And that's fucking great. I mean, again, Guild Wars 2. Come on, everybody. Come on, let's play. Let's go play. Oh, well, I don't have any money to pay monthly. That's fine. That's okay, Billy. You can do it on the boat. Very important, especially if you're trying to get your friends into the game. This is such a roadblock with trying to get your pals to come play with you in the latest stupid game you picked up. And it's like, hey Johnny, you should play this awesome game I got. It's great. You can make some foxy dames with big lush hooters. Oh, well, okay, well, that's cool. What do you got to do? Well, that's easy. All you got to do is drop $60. Oh, wow, $60. That's not peanuts, man. That's 10% of our annual gross. The hospice sleep at night. Yeah, well, but it's cool. It's fine. Just come on, play. It's a great game. We can play together. We can have fun. We can run around, and it's absolutely cool. You're gonna love it, bud. So your friend's like, all right, whatever. I'll drop $60, and then it's like, and then wait. Before you pay, you also have to kind of sign a contract and pay $15 every month, and that sort of thing. It's like, whoa, wait, what is this? Phone service? I don't want the $15 a month part. Scares people away from games like this a lot. So the fact that you can say you buy Guild Wars 2 and you don't have to pay a monthly subscription, you do not have to enter any credit card information to play this fucking game, is a huge, huge boon to it. And I'm sure it's going to be very successful because of that. And there's a lot of talk that this is the new model of MMOs. The whole subscription $15, $20 a month thing is going out the window. More and more games are launching free to play, and if Guild Wars 2 is very successful with this model, maybe that'll be kind of the way of the future. But it is an enormous relief. It really is, because when you're playing games like this, and I feel that way with Old Republic or any real subscription game, and it's not the fault of the game, it's just the fact that time is money, and you're literally paying. If you're sitting around and you're like, well, I should work on my Old Republic character. After all, I'm paying for it. So you kind of log in because you sort of, you want to get your money's worth. And, it sucks. It does suck. And sure, $15 a month isn't going to break you, but hey, that's an extra, like, I don't know, 8 McRibs I could have every month. You see how happy I get when I get McRibs? So I do love that the game is free to play, and I think that's absolutely wonderful. And again, it's inclusive, man. The game screams, will you fucking come play with me? Oh, but I don't know what I'm doing. No, it's all right. Just come play with me. Oh, but I don't know. I'm too high level to go to these zones. That's all right. You can scale down, and you could still get experience. I mean, it is a very nice change from normal MMO type, I guess, philosophies and things that have been done in other games, and kind of the fad, I guess, of where MMOs have gone. Everybody just kind of says, all right, you have to have this, you have to have this, you have to have that, you have to have this other thing here. Guild Wars does away with so much of the common things you've come to expect that aren't really needed, and I like it. I like it a lot for these reasons. So all in all, Guild Wars 2 is really cool. It's very, very, very neat. Oh, and one funny thing about the voiceovers. Depending on what race you pick, you'll say certain things at certain times, and sometimes very opportunities. A very inopportunicity. You'll say things, and sometimes it'll be funny because it won't really be the right situation. Like, my warrior, I'll be fighting and stuff like that, and I'll be like, so much power, or something similar here or there. And then also, sometimes they'll just throw shit out, and I'll just scream stuff at weird times. Like, I'll be harvesting an onion and be screaming, so much power, this fucking onion is covered in steroids. I thought it was funny. So anyway, I'm going to start talking about the bad stuff in Guild Wars 2 now, at least that I have come across, things that I think, the bad stuff, right? But all in all, I'm having a good time playing Guild Wars 2, and I will definitely stick with it. Very, very neat, I think. But nothing's perfect, so we're going to go through some of the stuff I did not really like. I think Guild Wars 2 suffers a little bit from genre confusion. The medical term, look on WebMD, and that'll come right up. And what I mean by that is genre confusion. At first glance, you may think, oh, well, Guild Wars 2, okay, it looks like a pretty straightforward, kind of medieval, Dark Ages type game sort of thing. And yeah, okay, there's that. And then there's also the little anime rabbit, whatever the fuck they are, midget people. And then they're the Char, which I still don't know what they are. They're like cat people and bull people. They're like Tauren and Worgen mashed together, like the funky kind of cat looking, but they got the horns. And they have like the posture of Tauren with like the big neck, and I don't know what the fuck they are. Maybe they're from Guild Wars 1. I don't know. I had Guild Wars 1. I played it for a little bit, but I never really got like into the world or the races or anything like that. So I'm not sure if they were from there. I think they were featured in the first game, but I don't know. It seems kind of to me. And they'll Silvari, results may Silvari. They're like the woodsy kind of people, and they're like tree kind of people, sort of, and they got branches covering their balls and stuff like that. I don't know, they look kind of And you have the people running around with the giant cloud Final Fantasy VII swords, and you got the Dungeons and Dragons mixed with anime stuff, mixed with like kind of steampunk gear, bombs and cannons. I don't really know which kind of way they were going with this. And I mean, there's something to be said about a game having its own style and kind of fusing together genres. But I also think that there are ways to do it that aren't so loud. It may just be me. Maybe I'm just I prefer a more kind of traditional type game where you kind of pick your setting, you pick your genre type deal, and you sort of stick to it. I mean, you got mesmers running around in like 7th Sea masquerade masks, Renaissance outfits, next to straight up Dungeons and Dragons warriors, next to giant shoulder pad Warcraft looking guardians. Maybe a little bit too much as far as identity crisis and mashing things together. At least I think so. That's one of the things that I kind of... I see some stuff running around that just doesn't fit, I guess I will say. Another thing I noticed, the interface. It's a little plain, and I'm talking about from a purely aesthetic standpoint. They did some really great stuff, like when you come out of water, there's the whole splash effect on your screen with some dots of moisture like rolling down the screen and stuff for a little while, and that's very neat. I wish they would have taken that kind of stylistic approach to the interface, the way it looks in general. I'm talking about the actual graphical presentation of everything. You have your abilities, and they're in like the little box, and your health is kind of in the middle, like Diablo, the big circle, red, and it goes down as you're getting your ass kicked and stuff like that. But I can't help but think they could have put a little bit more love into how the interface looks. It looks kind of cheap, actually. It's hard for me to explain. Like, you target on a villain, and it's just got the plain red life bar and the little small portrait on there, and everybody's name on top of their characters, and this little dinky writing. It doesn't look flashy, and it's odd because the game's graphical prowess is really, it's up there. It looks really nice, and I think that it would be a big improvement if they kind of jazzed up the way the your interface looks and appears. That stood out to me right away. It seemed like they could have done some nifty kind of design things that they just didn't, and it looks kind of plain, I think. To me. Also, class armor. I'm really, really big on looking the way you want to look. And I don't like getting a new weapon or a new piece of armor or a new piece of whatever that is much better than what you're currently using, only to find out it looks like a garden hoe. This happens way too much in MMOs, I feel, and I really am waiting for people to get off of the gear train and kind of wake up. What I would love to see is a game where, a game like Star Trek Online, where you make your character, you design how they look, and you can keep that look forever. And no matter what gear you get, it doesn't change your outfit the way you look. I would like to see games where you pick your skin, you pick the way your character looks, you pick the way his outfit looks, the armor looks and whatnot, and then no matter what gear you pick up in game, it does not change your appearance. Because in Warcraft, you end up with green sandals and purple Bermuda shorts, giant shoulder pads, and a glowing pair of pom-poms. Rah-rahs is boom-ba-poms. Ba-pa-pa-pa-pom-poms. I'm not good at this whole English thing. So you just look a mess in Warcraft for the most part, right? I know they added something where the transmogrification or whatever, where you can kind of design your armor. I don't know. I quit the game a long time ago. And in the Old Republic, the orange moddable armor is cool and all. That's great. But when you get to endgame, you're going to be walking around in either your Kalumi or Rakata or Black Hole or whatever the fuck. And, you know, you want the set bonuses. So you're going to walk around in the end game kind of armor, and ripping out mods is expensive as shit in the Old Republic when you get to the end game sort of stuff. And Guild Wars kind of follows, at least from what I've seen, it kind of follows a progression of, okay, if you're a warrior and you have level 40 warrior gear, it's going to look like this. And your level 40 warrior is going to look like that guy's level 40 warrior. I was standing next to someone, another warrior around the same level as I was in one of the cities. We looked exactly the same as far as our armor went, except, you know, the colors are different. Now, they have dyes, and you could change the colors on your armor anytime you want. Awesome. Very, 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 very good. But we can keep going with this kind of this philosophy. We can take this a lot further, I hope, in the future, and just say, you know, fuck it. Gear does not drop anymore. Just enhancements or modifications to gear, or just stats drop, and you just plug them into whatever kind of look you want. I really cannot wait for them to do that, because I like my character to look unique, to look like it's something that I put together. It looks like something that's not, you know, every other warrior in the game. And so far from what I've seen, that's kind of how it is. You're this level and you have this level gear, then you look like this. And all people of that level with the same kind of gear look pretty much the same. I don't like that. And I do think that these type of games in general need to lay off that, because again, character customization and having a guy that looks unique and that feels like it's yours is really important to the health and long life of any kind of game. And I hope that they kind of get back on the ball on this. Another thing I've experienced in Guild Wars 2 that's not that great is general, but I can forgive it because it's a pretty new game. It's only been out for not even a few weeks, I don't think. I think at the end of August it came out. I don't even know if it's been out a month yet. I don't know. But I have noticed I get booted from time to time, always when I'm switching zones. If I'm using a waypoint, which is a really neat feature, instead of like flight paths or anything like that, once you discover a waypoint, you can click on that waypoint on the map at any time and instantly teleport to that spot for a price. And that makes travel zipping back and forth easy and, well, instantaneous. I thought it would kind of take away from the whole massive world feel if anytime you want, you can just open your map, click on anywhere that you've been to, and teleport there instantly. But without that, it would be kind of a pain in the balls to really kind of get anything done, going back and forth in major cities and your leveling zones and stuff like that. So it's a cool feature that I like. But I have been booted straight out of the fucking game a couple of times, switching from here or there. That's kind of obnoxious. It's happened on more than one occasion, and always when I'm switching to another spot that's far away. A little bit obnoxious. And again, with these type of MMO games, is it my computer? Is it a program I have that's fucking with the thing? Or is it the game? Is it a bug? Is it me? Is it them? I don't fucking know. I'm just reporting what I'm experiencing here. So those are the bad things that I can think about Guild Wars 2 and my experience thus far. Now, don't get me wrong, I have a long way to go with this game, but this is from my couple of days playing it. And in those couple of days, an embarrassing amount of time, I think. I think I've invested a pretty pathetic amount of time in this game in the relatively short couple of days I have had it. But all in all, I gotta say, Guild Wars 2 is a really impressive game, and I like it very much. It knocks down a lot, and I mean a lot, of the walls that make games like this kind of a pain in the dick a lot of the times. But again, guys, somebody out there, please hear me. We have to get away from the whole gear thing. We have to just do this different. Everyone should look how they want to look. You pick your class or whatever the fuck, and you have numerous different kinds of outfits you could pick from, looks you could pick from. You just pick it at character creation. You can stay that way forever. Change your colors, and any kind of gear you find doesn't change how you look. I'm tired of it, and the big goofy, Bermuda shorts and the Superman cape with the construction hat with 2 beers on it. We can do better. We can certainly do better. Now I know they have cultural armor, which I've seen, which is grossly expensive. Which is supposed to, I guess it's like racial specific. So if you get like Norn cultural armor, I guess it would look like the Viking type stuff. But that seems like really far away. I don't know, and very, very expensive as far as karma from what I've seen. So hopefully, if you're on the fence about buying Guild Wars 2 or not, this review has kind of given you the good and the bad, at least from my point of view. Would I recommend this? It's tricky because I've seen reviews on Guild Wars 2 where they're not flattering at all, and people are very turned off by the game. And this is understandable because for so long it's been done a certain way, and to all of a sudden have things just kind of flipped upside down and come at from a different angle, it's jarring. It really is. And when I first started playing the game, like I said, wasn't really sure if I liked it too much, and it took a while to kind of get accustomed to it. But once I did, I really started to have a blast with it. But I can definitely see people with a lot of experience in these type of games not digging it. So I would say, if you're looking for something new, if you're looking for something different, and if you're willing to really give it a shot, and I mean really like, if I can quote Yoda for a minute, unlearn what the fuck you've learned and try something totally different from the ground up, I would definitely suggest you pick up Guild Wars 2. And I mean, no monthly fee. If you're already paying for another subscription game, like you're paying for Old Republic till it goes free to play or whatever, or you know, Eve, or I think Eve is still subscription based, and you want something else, I think Guild Wars 2 is perfect. Again, no monthly fee. And also, on the monthly fee, on that topic, they have a cash shop where you could buy gems for money and then spend those gems on stuff for in-game items. And, you know, most times when they do things like this, I will look through the cash shop and say, my God, I fucking have to have this, this, and this. Just take my money, please. Just take it. I cannot make adult decisions. So make them for me and just take my money. But I can honestly say, looking at the Guild Wars 2 cash shop, I don't want any of this shit. Like, it's so not even an issue. And I think that's great. It's there if you want to buy experience boosts, or if you want to buy crafting boosts, or if you want to buy, you know, this or that, or a pair of sunglasses. What? No. Ew. Genre confusion. Remember that? So it's not like, oh, well, the game is free, but you're going to want to drop this much money in the cash shop just to kind of keep up with everyone. It's not like that at all. They give you a full MMO experience. It's not like, you know, oh, it's free to play, but this race is restricted, and this race is restricted, and this class is restricted, and this class is restricted. No. You have access to the full game, and all the cash shop does is sell little extras here or there that you really, really do not need. And I cannot tell you how great that is. Now, if you're a more traditional MMO type player and you're just fine and dandy with your Old Republics and your World of Warcraft's kind of, you know, talk to somebody, they send you there, you go kill 3 chickens and rip out their spleens and return the ripped out chicken spleens to the dwarf who gives you 4 gems of spleen ripping, you might be turned off by Guild Wars 2. Because not only is it vastly different, it doesn't do a great job of easing you in. They need a better tutorial. The people who make Guild Wars 2, I think, are Martians, like I said. They have to realize that humans are not used to their sort of game. And like, for example, when I first started playing, I was lost. I was wandering around. I didn't even know what to fucking do with myself, really, because I was so used to, okay, guy standing in front of me with a little quest icon. I go talk to him, and he sends me somewhere else. And then there's more people I talk to, and they send me elsewhere. So the whole kind of going to an area, unlocking a quest in that area, and just having kind of the freedom to sort of roam around and do a little bit of a quest here, then run off and do a dynamic event, then run back and finish the quest that you started before the dynamic event. It's like another language to MMO players, and I can see how it could turn people off who are so used to that sort of kind of template. So that is really, I think, the long and short of it. If you're looking for something different, Guild Wars 2 is that something different with minimal risk involved. No subscription fee. You buy the game. If you hate it and it sucks, I'm sorry, but hey, there's no subscription, right? It's good. And if you love the game and you want to get your friends into it, it's very easy with the selling point of, hey, you don't have to pay monthly. You can level at your own time, and that's really, really great. Also, I forgot one thing. The level cap is 80, which I think is high. I've gone ad nauseum about my feeling on level caps in games being this kind of grossly high. And that's what was scaring me away from picking up Guild Wars 2 sooner, anyway, than I would have. Because I hate games with crazy long level caps. Because it makes the process of making alts just like, now I got to go through 80 more fucking levels, and it's going to take me forever, and I just don't feel like dealing with these numbers. I think your 50 to 60 is, fine. It's reasonable. But, again, with Guild Wars 2, you're not paying a subscription fee. You literally have all the time in the world to get your character to 80. I've had the game, 2 days? 3 days at max, and I already have a level 41 character. And, so if you play, you'll be rewarded. They give you experience for pretty much everything, so as long as you're active and involved in the game, you're going to level regardless. If you do crafting, you're going to level off your crafting. If you go out and fight shit, you're going to level off going out and fighting shit. If you just want to run around exploring points of interest, you level off that. So really, it caters to all play styles. And the level cap, I would say, already halfway through it, I guess, is sort of deceptive. It really, your levels will fly by just as you play and enjoy the game. So I think that is definitely worth mentioning. If the high level cap is going to scare you off, like it did me before I bought the game, you literally have all the time in the world to get that. And as long as you're playing, you're going to level. It's like a side effect. Like, oh, well, I'm having a great time doing all this stuff, learning recipes, figuring out stuff, crafting. Oh, look, and I just gained 2 levels off of it. Wow, that's really good. So, this has been an incredibly long, sorry about that whole lack of entertainment / wasting your time thing, but I hope I covered some of the points of Guild Wars 2. A big game and a lot to kind of go over. And again, this is just my initial impression, not a formal review, because I haven't really gotten into the sort of nooks and crannies of the game. So Guild Wars 2, good stuff. I definitely like it a lot. And I talked a lot of shit about the little anime mouse people. I did. And I was like, oh, I hate that. That's so stupid. They're stupid little rat people. I don't know, big head, eye anime, giant eye face anime thing. But I saw one in game. It was an NPC running around. And it was this little white thing with big head and big floppy ears. And it had on like a pirate hat. And I turned gay for like 5 minutes. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like blushing and giggling like an anime schoolgirl. It was adorable. It was the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. I think I'm comfortable enough in my manliness and my sexuality to admit that. Oh, look, an onion. Oh my God, this power!